This is the first part of the story of Daedalus and Icarus that Ovid writes in his Metamorphoses, and lines 183 to 192 correspond to the section on page 166 of the Cambridge Latin Course 5th edition that it titles Section 1. And so here we go. The first word, the most important one, Daedalus. Meanwhile, he's peroses, having hated, or your book says hating. He's hating two things. So hating Crete, here's your Greek accusative, not an M like in Latin, but an N is in Greek. So hating Crete and the long exile, or his long exile. And another conjunction, touched by the love, this is ablative, and these are genitive here, literally of, but for actually sounds better. So touched by the love for or of or for his native place, his birthplace. Incidentally, this is called an objective genitive because it's the object of his love. So he's touched by the love for his birthplace. Daedalus here is the subject, right? He had been shut off. So this is pluperfect passive, shut off. And then this is ablative, and from sounds really good here. So he had been closed off or shut off from the sea. Daedalus inquit. Daedalus says, and licet here means although. Although he, and that he we find out down here is minos, but although he may obstruct, he may get in the way of or block my way through the lands and the waves or waters. But, or yet, surely or certainly, the sky lies open or is open. We will go, there's your future of the verb eo ire, we will go by that way, or we will go that way. And again, here's minos, the subject of these two verbs here, possedeata and non possedet. And here's a great study in the present indicative, possedet, of the second conjugation verb, possedeo. And then the same verb in the present tense, but subjunctive. So he may possess everything. He does not possess the air, the breezes, the sky. And this is a good example of a syndeton, right? So there's no said or anything like that. There's no conjunction. And there he said. So he said this, and he demittits his animum. So he sends down, or he directs his mind or his spirit, ignotos in artes, into the unknown arts, unknown skills. So if you're a Roman reading this and you're familiar with the themes of poetry, this is your first clue that this is not going to end well for Daedalus. Here is your second clue, and it's the biggest one. And, there's Quay again, he renews nature, or changes nature. 4, and we're getting down to the business now of him making the wings. 4, he places the feathers in order. Now, 190 is actually omitted in Cambridge, but I'll go ahead and translate what Ovid, what most believe Ovid wrote. Some people believe that this is an interpolation that someone editing Ovid's text much later has put in. So he places the wings in order. Those wings having been begun, so maybe we could just say beginning, from the minima pena, from the smallest wing, with a shorter one following a long one. Now, if he's beginning from the smallest wing, then that doesn't seem to recommend that he would then have shorter ones following it. But this is the problem people have with it. But what we think they mean is that you've got a really a long one and then a short one. And then a long one, and then a short one, right? So a shorter one is following a longer one, or a longer one is with a shorter one, a smaller one following a longer one. That's the idea. So the ends are serrated. So nonetheless, he places the wings in order, and then oot, here's your purpose clause, so that you would think. And then we have an indirect statement, so that you would think that the wings, they grew clivo on a cliff, or rather on a slope. In this way, a rustica fistula, so a rustic reed pipe, so the reed pipe of a country folk, of a countryman. And then quondam here can mean sometimes. In this way, sometimes a rustic reed pipe, little bit by little bit, rises or arises with a wainies, with reeds of different lengths. So here we see a picture of the wings, or the feathers, well, the wings, kind of like this. If I can draw it with my cursor. Right, so just like a pan flute kind of thing.